What's up, guys? Today we're checking out Battle Chasers Nightwar on the Nintendo Switch. And this has been kind of an interesting situation with this game developing, where it was pushed back. At one point we didn't even know when it was coming out, and then they announced it was coming out May 15th. I actually remember seeing this game at a Walmart. I posted even on Twitter that I saw it at Walmart like weeks before it was even supposed to be out. And then they actually sent me a review code for it like a full week or so ahead of time, maybe a little more than that actually, almost a week and a half. So this has been an interesting saga with this game. If you don't know what Battle Chasers Nightwar is, it's supposed to be kind of a classic take on, in their words, kind of a Japanese RPG style game. So it is very much a turn-based, straight-up RPG, which is cool, and it has some interesting complexities to it as well. And we're going to check all of that out here today. It was originally on Kickstarter. It smashed its goal, raised over $850,000, over 14,000 backers. It's on the PS4, the Xbox One, PC, and again, this Tuesday, it's coming to the Nintendo Switch. It's $40 on the Switch, so $39.99, and it retails for $10 less on the other systems new. So on Steam, it's $29.99, PS4, Xbox One, and in some cases, you can find those even cheaper at used game stores and stuff like that. So you might be wondering what's going on with the Switch version. Why is it more? Well, more than likely it has to do with the cartridge cost, if I had to take a guess. So it's going to be physical and digital, which is good for people who like to collect them physically. So I like a few things about this game. First of all, I like the art style that they went with. It kind of has like a hand-drawn art style kind of mixed with like standard, 3D visuals and everything. So we're going to kind of play around here, and I'm going to tell you guys some of the stuff I like, some of the stuff that I don't like could use some work. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go out of town. I'm technically in the Overworld. So you know most RPGs, whether it maybe played Final Fantasy VII or other ones, a lot of times in the old style games there was like an overworld where your people would become bigger and you'd run around. This does that, but it has kind of a path set up for you to follow, but you can technically just go and do whatever you want. So I'm actually going to kind of run around here and we'll jump into some battles. I notice when it's in the overworld, specifically if you're in like a dungeon, which you do go in dungeons and everything as well, it appears at like a lower resolution and the frame rate is lower, but then you get into battle and everything looks way better. Like you're going to see that here. So I'm going to jump into this battle here and we're going to attack this lesser enemy because I believe my people are stronger than them by a decent amount. Yeah, so they're level 3, I'm level 10 and then 11. And it looks like right now, it looks good. It looks great, actually. It's very crisp looking now. And then I get out of battle, and it looks just more blurry. It's weird. I don't know if that's just a setback they have with what the game is, and that's just the way it is. But let's check this out. So you have actions, abilities, and you have burst. Burst is like your overdrive. So if you played other games, that's like a bar will fill up as you see on the left, and you have different burst levels. So in this save file, I have 2 that are open up right now, and you do unlock more and other abilities and stuff as we go through as well. And then, of course, the bursts are just more powerful attacks that you have, or support skills, because you have support, attack, healing, all of that stuff as well. You can inflict different things like bleeding, for example. We'll actually do that with our guy there with the sword. This is our gauntlet dude who just destroyed him, as you can see. So I'll have to go find some harder to kill enemies. But Sting, for example, creates overcharge. Overcharge, from what I've seen, is almost like temporary mana in battle. So you use normal attacks, build up overcharge. That does not follow you between battles. So we're going to hit him with Sting, which causes bleeding. And the bleeding would actually wipe him out, but I'm going to let our magician guy here kind of take him down. I like the way the characters are animated. I like how the different attacks look really cool. So if you've kind of held out on this version for the Switch, I actually think this game works really well as a handheld game. Like if you're playing it on the go, because I'm going to tell you now, this game does get grindy towards the back half of it. You definitely end up grinding away at enemies and building up, and you don't level up as frequently as other ones. So for example, in this, you'll see some of the bigger attacks in the game you get at like in the 20s, for example. So you don't level up constantly. It's actually a bit longer to level up, but when you do level up, you feel kind of a power jump. So you have perks, which is cool because you do have points that you earn. Basically, they give you so many points, and then you put them into raising your haste, for example, leveling up your different attacks that you have, and each person has 2 different categories. For example, Gully has Avenger and Guardian. Guardian, of course, is kind of like he has better defense, and he can kind of defend and taunt enemies to pull the attention to him, to pull attention off of like weaker allies that are hit harder for DPS and everything. But then you'll see Garrison is a swordsman or a wanderer. Then you have Nolan, who is an elemental or arcane. So he's our wizard, like I was saying. And you technically put these points into all of these different things. So for example, arcane health increases stamina by 2.1%. So his health will actually go up from that. So I'll put 2 points in that. And there you go. You see his health just jumped a bit. And you kind of go through and you got to kind of decide what you want. But you can see I can kind of take them off and add them. So you basically have a pool that you have, and you can kind of play around with them and change the builds out depending on what you're trying to do. And it does make sense to change your build depending on the enemies you're facing. I will say that. You'll see that as you go through the game. So you also have skills that can be used on the Overworld. So I have Smash, which stuns nearby enemies, or you can have Stone Skin to become immune to dungeon damage, where things will like shoot you when you're running around. So let's go back up here, and I'll actually go towards the back half where the enemies are tougher, so we can have some, I guess, longer battles. All right, so I went to the Rushlands Blink Station, which I believe these enemies are a little tougher, which is good. So that'll give us an idea of a little better for battle and everything. So I'm gonna work my way up here, and yeah, work up here. And we'll just kind of go through some of the battles, because I need to level these characters up anyway. Because they're a little weaker than I'd like them to be for where I am in the story right now. I was trying to get to a file where I wasn't super far into the game, because I don't want to ruin a ton of this stuff, because there are some other pretty cool characters and stuff that show up, and there we go. So this is this part I think is about 6 or 7 hours into the game. So it's not like tremendously far in. So I'm actually just working to level these guys up a bit. But I like I said, I like the way it looks and everything. We're going to kind of work up here, and I'm going to try to get to maybe a dungeon or something so you guys can check that out a bit. So you can see how that looks and plays. Now I did have, I could have grabbed that. I did have a quest I was going to run in the town, but even that's a little higher than I'd like to be for level-wise. I think most enemies there were 12, and then the main boss is like 13, and he's pretty strong. Let me see if... There's Path of Fangs. Okay, so I did work through that. Siege Coast. And I have my quest indicator at the top right. So I made my way across like the little continent they had there to Junktown. And this is where the instances, I guess, where the dungeon kind of pops up. And this is really cool because this is something I like about this game. When you go to a dungeon, or if you want to call it an instance like they do from MMOs or anything, you have kind of a reward that you work towards, but you can up the difficulty. Now, I've already started this one on normal, but you can actually move it up to like hard and then challenge, and there's better treasure rewards at the end for beating it on that difficulty, which is pretty cool. I could also reset the dungeon if I want, so I've beaten it, I can reset it again, and kind of go through it on harder difficulties as you level up and everything. So I'm actually just going to continue it and get back in here so you guys can kind of check out, I guess, kind of what I'm saying. It's almost like it has better performance in battle, which I guess makes sense since there's not like a big open world or a big world that's showing. And then every instance and dungeon has a load time like this that is, it's not the worst, but it is noticeable. It's lengthy to a degree, as you're going to see here. I'm not going to speed this up or anything. I'll just leave it. And they kind of have like different tips and stuff, obviously, but we're just going to watch this bar kind of fill up. And this will happen at every dungeon. But what's interesting is, if I go in and then back out to come back in, the load time is very quick. Again, probably because it's dumped a lot of stuff into memory. And it's just a load time as we're waiting. Yep. It's noticeable. It's kind of annoying too. It's more annoying when you get into a battle and you have a bar like this fill up and it could take 10, 15 seconds sometimes. It's kind of crazy. So here we go. And there's when fishing. There you go. There's fishing too. Just trying to fill the awesome time. Okay, there we go. And we're in a Junktown dungeon, and it's just something I've noticed. Like looking at it on my screen here, the characters and everything looks blurry, and then you get into the battle, and it's very crisp looking. So it is a massive contrast between the two. It's just something that I noticed, and I'm just trying to tell you guys everything to expect. It is a $40 game, so I want you guys to know everything about what you're getting into here. And if you're playing on a big screen, you're going to notice it too. It's kind of blurry here, and I don't know if the resolution just drops out of battle because it just looks so much different when you're in the battle to when you're on this screen like here. As you can kind of see, the frame rate is choppy at times right here too. You can kind of see it, my character's moving around. And some people won't care. It's an RPG. It's not like we're trying to time, button combos or anything, but still, it's noticeable. It's kind of annoying. So we're going to kind of go through here. This is, like I said, an instance. What I'm trying to do is get the password for this, and I'm kind of, you find them as you go through. And I have to go back through here because I left the dungeon to level up some more. And I leveled up, I think, once. So hopefully that at least helps me. So we're just going to kind of keep working through this dungeon and see if we find anything else before we finish up. Here's some enemies. So we'll work against them. And let's see, so they're level 9 as well. We should be able to work through them relatively easily, I guess. But when we get to when I level up again and we go 11, 11, and 12, then these guys will actually become a lot easier. Seriously, if there's like a 2-level, 3-level difference, if you're lucky, against you and the enemies you're fighting, it becomes quite a bit easier. And they do give you new equipment as you go through, and you can even craft equipment as well, to where you become very powerful compared to the enemies just by getting good equipment. So leveling up, like I said, noticeably raises your power. So we're gonna work through these guys. So he's gone, which is good. Got rid of him. He's gonna have another attack, but after that, I think I can finish him before he gets to do anything else. I always evade one up. He actually might dodge some of these hits. We'll see. There we go. Otherwise, though, this guy will work through him. And then I think we're just about finished up here. You can kind of see how the battle, like I said, looks more crisp than the overworld, what we just saw. It's almost like when they're in battle, it goes to like 1080p, and then you're out of battle and it drops to like 720. I don't know. It's the best example, best reasoning I come up with, because it's noticeable when you leave battle that it just becomes more blurry, like here. So we're gonna, I can use power cell to power the beacon. There you go. Activate the bell. Voice comes over speaker. Coordinates triangulated. We've got your package, a delivery package lined up. Brace yourself, not knowing what to expect. Watch out. It's coming in hot. Get out of the way of that. And there we go. What do we got? Glowing powder. Okay, so I got a slasher. Ooh, prototype golem crushers. Ooh, what is that? Let's put that on. That massively raised the attack power. You can see, like I said, about equipment. So that raises my attack power plus 112. It lowers my health. It lowers my, because of the stamina gets lowered. But wow. Let's put that on and go to 439 attack power with this guy. That is insane. I did get something else. It was a steel slasher, but it wasn't like, I don't think it's that much more powerful than what I have here. No, I guess it kind of does. It raises my attack power 44. And that's what I mostly do, is just try to raise my attack power so I hit harder. That's kind of what I do. So you'll get these kind of drops and stuff if you have the right things on you at the time. I had power cells, extra power cells to push, so I did. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to jump you guys now over to, oh, look, a little house with some stuff in it. I'm going to jump you guys over to handheld mode so you can see how that plays. I'm mostly just going to kind of wander around, probably get in a couple battles as well, just so you can see. I think the text and the HUD might be a little small, but it is manageable, and it is completely playable in handheld mode. And honestly, this is a great game to have portably because, like, some of the grinding aspects to it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. This is Battle Chasers Nightwar, out for the Nintendo Switch on Tuesday, May 15th, and it's going to be out for $39.99. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.